Hi! Thinking that I might be late. When did these bitches escape? Who let me out of the cage? Hey y'all, I come sharing good news. I've made it to the end of the artist's way. I've completed all 12 weeks. Yes. Thank you so much. Please. Listen, there are some truths about this book that I feel like we should talk about. I read this book based off of Doechie's Grammy speech last year. She is an amazing artist, someone that I just adore. I also make music. I'm also an actress. I'm also a creative. And it inspired me to read this book. I did, however, see this book and hear about it through the grapevine for years and years and years, but this was like the final, and I was like, it's happening. I want a Grammy too. No, but I want to be on whatever type of time she's on. So I was super inspired and I got started. After consuming the whole 12 weeks, after trotting through, I will say, here's my little takeaways. Number one, it's going to take longer than 12 weeks. Oh. I saw this girl make a TikTok and she was like, I need 2 or 3 weeks just to digest what's happening in 1 week of the book. And I was like, that is very valid. Now for me, I read this like right on the cusp of coming off of a breakup, right on the cusp of just having a lot of time on my, like, you know, I had room in my life and space so I could like pour into myself, focus on this book. So I will say it just took longer than 12 weeks, babe. It honestly probably took me like, was 12 weeks, 3 months? It probably took me like 4 months and a half, you know what I'm saying? You really have to account for the fact that life is still happening in the process. So my parents came into town and my sisters and all this, I get a job opportunity. So now I'm here and I'm supposed to go on my artist date and journal and all this stuff and do all the activities listed in the book. But it is still very much so worth it. If you're debating about getting the book or not, like, go ahead and get it. Even if you trot through it, not at the timeline of the book, I am so happy I made it to the end. Like, it is worth finishing. I will say the first 8 to 9 weeks, like, I was on fire. Them last little bit, they cooked me. They cooked me. But that was fine because we pushed through. And I was going live every week on YouTube, so I kind of felt like I needed to be, like, just following up even if I fell off my own timeline. So I will just say that if you're planning on reading this book, like, just give yourself the grace to know that time. Which brings me to my second point. The time don't really matter because the book works. Now, I'm a Jesus girly. I love Jesus. We go together real bad. But even if you're not spiritually inclined, if you're not a believer of sorts, like it is a spiritual or a creator or a bigger aspect to digesting the book. As a believer, you know, sometimes we can be a little spooky ooky about reading certain self-help books because we just want to do the Jesus way. So that's like one extreme. And I'll say this book is still to me a safe place to, you know, eat the chicken, spit out the bones. And then as someone who maybe not be super faith-based, it is definitely a window into seeing like how higher purpose can serve my life and my creativity. It's a spiritual journey to create, to be creative, like a director, a writer, a songwriter, a singer, an actress, a comedian. And even in having a corporate job, there takes creativity, even being creative with life, on how you pay your bills, when you pay your bills, how you go about living in your living situation, where you live. Like, there's a creative nature in life that I think everyone could benefit from reading this book. And it just feels good. I caught on to this around like week 3, week 4. The results feel good, but the process is embarrassing. That's it. That's all. The process is vulnerable and therefore it feels embarrassing. I was transparent about it to my YouTube community and to my like a few friends, but I knew honestly, one, I couldn't even stomach telling certain people because I didn't want to be embarrassed in front of them or just have them like kill my spirit about it, especially when I feel like I'm receiving certain signs from God, from the creator, specifically talking in a way that I receive. Like, if I thought that was a sign to push me towards a certain thing, then it was. And I can't stomach someone else like coming in and saying maybe it was a coincidence or something like that. I don't know if that makes sense. I just would say to prepare your like pride before you jump into this book. It's just a journey. I, though, have never felt so connected to like my younger self. I started posting on YouTube, or my mom rather, when I was super young. So I always have been like in some form of entertainment, online in some way, some shape. Like this is like my stomping grounds. But I will say when I was younger, I had such a peace and a knowing in my creativity and in a confidence in what I was doing, whether I was getting the job or not. Selling, doing numbers, like it was just like, I knew I was doing my best, and that actually was enough for me. I haven't felt like that in a very long time. Let's just say that. And this book really helped me recalibrate and really get back to those pieces. Like I'm starting to see, like, I'm annoying because I just did my makeup because we have an event today. So like, don't do this. You're a bad bitch. You're a bad bitch. Like I said, it's truly a vulnerable process. Things that I wanted to do when I was younger, it kind of like shows you different ways that you can allot yourself to doing those things. Things that I just wanted to find new joy in, I was able to because I was using the structure of the book and how it was going about. Hey, Bookie.
You filming?
Yeah. Oh.
But I look terrible.
She doesn't look terrible.
Your hair is so good.
One of my favorite things in the book that you do weekly is you journal every day, like 3 pages. Seems aggressive, but trust me, it's worth it, at least to set the tone. And you go on an artist date. Now, this artist date could be like you take yourself here. It's like a solo date that you do. A very cute situation. I have done, like, I've taken myself to new restaurants that I wanted to go to. I've taken myself to New York. It'll ask you to explore at some point. That was a big first for me. I didn't grow up vacationing, like even expensing to do something for myself in that way was like, but so worth it. I was like, oh, this is why people travel. Like if you see me traveling, most of the times it's job related or brand associated. I'm in the company of someone. So this was just a one-on-one situation. And it just asks you to do like a lot of things to, like I said, again, recalibrate your spirit. So whether it's writing certain things on your wall so that you can remember, sending yourself a letter, sending people a letter, writing a letter, even if you don't send it off, to people who inspired you, being honest about why you feel small. The affirmations eat the bad voice in your head and acknowledging what's that saying to you. That eats, that whole concept. It works. A few of my favorite quotes from the book. I was writing down any random thoughts that I had while I was reading the book. Like I just wrote them down on the side so I can remember and kind of have a roadmap to my recovery. Even in week 1, it's she talks a lot about recovering with a sense of safety, and she's kind of setting you up to get into the groove of things. And one of my favorite quotes was, "It's impossible to get better and look good at the same time." See? And that was my problem because I don't want to be embarrassed. I don't want to be vulnerable. I will say, being on YouTube, knowing I have like a very small knit corner of the internet at the moment, very much so helped me because everyone was just kind. Like a lot of people like rooting for me and alongside, like some people started reading the book. It was enjoyable and I didn't reach a side of the internet that was weird or nothing like that. So I was able to go through the process without feeling a sense of judgment because I'm like, it's just you and me, Pookie. And watch this video blow up and then I'm going to be like, ah! Anyways, it says, also give yourself permission to be a beginner. Now going back again to those thoughts when I'm like, yes, I've been in the entertainment industry in some facet for such a long time, for all of my life. The idea of being a beginner or even seeming like a beginner in anything very much so scared the shit out of me because the feeling is I should be further along than this. But the reality is there are so many facets of entertainment specifically that I was exposed to when I moved to LA. Like there were so many more levels that I got exposed to when I moved here that I'm like, even I moved like a year before the pandemic. And then the whole world shut down. And then I got into content creation. And then I had to like rewire my brain. And I'm just starting to get into the fruit of that. And so when I think about being the beginner and I talk about the honest fear about that, I'm able to be honest with myself, one. And then two, I'm able to walk from the reality of my fear. And then I can make a decision on what I want to do, on what I actually want to pursue. And then I could go in with the like idea of like, okay, I am a beginner. Like in comparison to a lot of the people that I rub shoulders with in doing content creation, I would still be towards the beginning stages of my content creation. I've never had this opportunity at this level. And no, I'm not new to this in its entirety. Like I'm not trying to put everything at a beginner level, but I'm able to sit in the reality of a certain situation and be like, okay, why am I feeling the way I'm feeling? And acknowledge, oh, probably because it's the first time I've experienced this feeling. I don't know if that makes sense. I hope it does. Oh, this was a really good one. This was in week 2. It says repeat, it asks you to repeat it like an affirmation. The great creator, in my case, God, Jesus, has gifted us with creativity. Our gift back is to use it. Do not let people squander your time. And when I heard that, I was like, I want to be good to God. God is so good to me. I've never been hungry. I've been in a major city across country. I've gotten so many blessings just being here and even prior to moving to LA. But like, he's just been so good to me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, if I think about using my gift or starting or being a beginner or being not at 1, but at 10, at another level, but at the beginning of it, if I think about utilizing and moving in that way as a gift back to God, then that's a better framework for me. I want to be reciprocal in this relationship as well. So I thought that was tea. And then I'll do one more because there's so many. So a lot of the remedy for what is involved in the action of this book is action, is movement. So the censor being as though like that bad voice in your head, she often says, Julia, because Julia is my girl at this point. She often says, speed kills the censor, meaning activity, moving, going for a walk, putting movement in your body, like it kills this activity. So I thought that when she kind of talked about creativity, like it made sense in the scope of creativity and strength. Creativity requires activity. And this is not good news for most of us because it makes us responsible, and we tend to hate that. Most of us hate to do something when we can obsess about something else instead. Our favorite things to do instead of our art is contemplate the odds. In a creative career, thinking about the odds is a drink of emotional poison. And I went ahead and closed my book after that. I said, well, Julia, you've done it again. Well, I think I'm rather responsible, but when you put it in that framework, I guess I am a little shabby in terms of taking responsibility for my creativity because I'm nervous or scared or afraid in reality. Anyways, that's just all I can delve into. I don't want to make this video too long. I did want to make something as a timestamp to celebrate finishing, and then also if anyone's considering starting, like champion you, because Pookie, it's another level. I've never, like I said, felt so tapped into the peace that I had when I was a child. I have never felt so at ease in my mind. A lot of that journaling allowed me to dump, and so I don't have to harbor my thoughts in my head. And I just feel closer to God, to be honest. I feel more attuned. I feel like I can hear more. I also, and this is a whole nother note, it encourages you to do like, you know, something you've always wanted to do. One of those things I've always wanted to do was play piano. And I was like, dang, I really want to play piano. I want to learn how to read music and stuff like that. So I started. And playing the piano, I realized like, in order to learn a new skill or learn a new instrument or a new thing in general, you have to be so silent in your mind. And I think that was probably the point. Not the thing, but the state of mind you have to be in pursuing the thing. And in being silent in my mind, I'm able to hear so much better. I just finished the 12 weeks. We're going to see if this really works. Because now, honestly, now the games have started. Now the Hunger Games sounded. I'll check back in 3 months, 6 months. You know, like, we're posting here. We're doing this. I'm so happy. And I'm so proud of myself. I'm not even going to lie. Of just finishing something that I was really passionate about. Make sure you leave your commentary if you've read the book, if you're considering reading the book, just your thoughts in general. Let me know. Okay, now I have to get dressed. Disney asked us to host the red carpet today. Not host the red carpet, but like be on the red carpet, interview a few people for the new Ironheart. So how exciting! So I have to get dressed for that and eat because I will be hangry. Anyways, love you guys so much.
Yeah, you look real good on